morning doves, noon crows, and night owls. I am to be welcome, and so are you. Today is Monday, July 6, 2026, 11:47 p.m. Just 2 days after the 4th of July, where all the fireworks come out. We are doing a light plane POV on Island 4, Sandtown Village, from the east side, East District. We are going to do this in the East District of this very humongously large, gigantic plot of sand. plot of land, plot of sand. Without much further to describe, to explain, or show in terms of speaking, we will get ourselves to the plane and we will take ourselves up the skies. We'll do the one in the middle. Usually the middle ones are always more easier to at least get some sort of base point to where you are in terms of distance. We're going to start from where we're facing. 3, 2, 1, lift off. And that's the flight. We're ready to go and we're off. A little disclaimer, my left ear is a little bit half deaf because during the 4th of July, it was my cousin's birthday. He just turned 19, Jay. Congrats, man. I hope you at least find something a little more memorable being 19 than when I was 19. It certainly wasn't so fun for me. Yep, my brain already drifted off. But today what did I do? I went to my college to get my laptop renewed because it was past its due date, but they ended up rescheduling it to the 13th of this month. So that happened. I woke up around 10, 9, 8 o'clock, tried to push through, fell back asleep. And then I woke back up around 10 with the alarm, drove over to my college. I waited for a little while to get the desk clerk to show up, and they told me they rescheduled the renewal for laptops because it was undergoing some kind of update. So that didn't happen, and so I went back home. Then I went into work around 2 or so, around 3 o'clock, got in. First shift was already letting me know about something that I didn't do that was a mild mistake. So that was a little irritating, but it wasn't terrible. It was doable, but then once I undergone the whole process with my partner and everything, we did our whole changeover, putting in the new material, and then we were running for about a little bit until I noticed that the wire was not going straight. It was wavy. And so I took a look. I stopped the line and I took a look, and well, the wire was overlapping with the other one. This was around 6 o'clock, 6:40, 6:30. And then I went to try to fix it, and it was still overlapping each other. It was still crossing over. And so I let my supervisor know as to what's going on and what I should do, and so I did what I had to do. I had to cut out of that, and then it was untangled after that. Run up the amount of scrap that I had to make out of that, which was about 202 feet. That was a lot of money to lose, but it was still salvageable. The reel was still able to be ran. I just felt terrible. It was already bad enough to be awake and tired, but from just waking up early, everything. But now to actually deal with some nonsense at work, it's like, okay, today's actually a bad luck day, I guess. This is a day where I have to be, and I had to be responsible that day too. Because there's days where we alternate between where one's fully responsible for managing everything, and the other one kind of is able to coast and relax a little bit. But today I was responsible, and that was quite terrible. But for the most part, it was aggravating, stressful, and I just recall moments and memories of my cousins and I when we were little kids, where I kind of was becoming like the fourth wheel, just unable to really be around, just kind of like that person sitting in the back, not really being involved. It's like, I just recalled that moment where I felt like I wanted to jump in, I wanted to get involved, but I just didn't say a thing, and I stayed where I was until it became too much to bear, to deal with, it just became insufferable, intoxicating, suffocating. I just ended up going somewhere else, and that just became the first step to just becoming further distanced from every single one of them. But that's how this day went. I also recall a moment, the area that I take a break at, it's an area that one of my friends go to. I showed him this area, and I was able to kind of help me, kind of like, at least feel a little better throughout the day. Aside from that, that's pretty much how, that summarizes it. And now I will explain, I'll go into how the 4th of July went for me. I spent the day getting a vacuum from my car, my truck, and I was cleaning up the truck and everything, because, well, it wasn't just my best friend, my airplane friend who was going through the party with me, it was his brother, so I wanted to clean up the truck and make sure that the truck was as comfortable and as clean as can be, because that's just my ultimate way of just giving, just self-servicing for people. It's usually how every birthday party goes, whether it's my birthday or my brother's birthday. I always clean up the place, make everything tidy, tidy up the place and make everything clean, because that's just my own way of being courteous, and I just take care. It's funny because I'm supposed to be the service, I'm supposed to be getting the service, but I always end up doing the service of just cleaning up furniture, organizing items around the room. And it's just an act of selflessness. It's one way to make yourself feel better about yourself. Seems like the microphone slid off a little, but now I'm back. It's probably because of the vibrations, but it's one way to make myself feel better about myself as a person, compared to where I don't want to feel like a selfish jerk that just doesn't know anything about common courtesy and just having nice, good manners. That's when I painted the picture of myself into the portrait of what I appear to everyone else. And so I met up with my friends after cleaning up my truck. We got in the car. I went to get some Frosties at Wendy's, had a little bit of that, and my friends and we went off and drove off in Hooksett to my cousin's place. Yep, the build-up was pretty much normal. It was pretty casual for most of it, but then once we arrived there, I was just filled with a lot of anxiety. I was just filled with a lot of bad memories, a lot of dreadful moments in my time there. I was always alone, always making things, always playing like physical games, like in terms of tag and trying to have fun, but then I realized that it hurts people at some points, like accidental, like when I increase the intensity of something or everyone gets crazy, just very competitive, then it just sets off some conflict and accidents. That's when like we all started to avoid doing anything related to that activity as much. And I just felt so down all the time, just from walking up to the driveway itself, it's like, here we go, I'm gonna do this again, I'm gonna see what it is that I've felt so haunted to deal with. And so we get there, we get into the building, and at first I had my friends wait outside the garage, the doorway that leads up to their house, their room, the main kitchen area. And then I told my aunt that, well, I brought my friends over, and that's it. I let my aunt know, and then I went back to the door and said, okay guys, let's get up. And my friends went up, and they introduced themselves, they said hello and everything. And this was like the biggest anxiety I've ever had, where I was going up to the kitchen and everything, and like the main living room area is where all of my cousins were at. It was the most nerve-wracking, the most blood-curdling, blood-chilling feeling I've ever felt for a while, just dealing with that. Just not dealing with them, but just dealing with myself in front of them. Just showing how much of a complete turtle I am. The turtle that hides behind the shell all the time, just becoming that turtle that just shells himself. And it's just, wow, that was just the most nerve-wracking feeling ever. And when I was talking to them, the minute I ended up seeing them, I did greet B. I greeted J, or I didn't even say anything to J, which probably came off pretty rude, but I don't know. I don't know how he felt about it. It was later though that I did let him know happy birthday, you know. Told him that I was doing public speaking, and that I'm an introvert, and that's difficult for me. So it was a relatively short thing, but I did tell him that, hey, we're around the same, you know, we're kind of the same level right now. We're both doing college. So we're not really that much different, even though like we're 4 years apart in terms of age, but we're still like both doing the same kind of thing with the same goal, to get a degree, an educational degree. And that was just my own way of trying to get a little comfortable, a little bit more kind of like the same common ground, find some form of common ground with my partner, with my cousin Jay. And then that happened, that was done, that was pretty much done. Then me and my friends, we decided to on the way there, we also decided to get ourselves our swimwear, because we wanted to go swim at the pool over there itself. They have a pool, a pretty nice big pool. So that was the first thing we did. after I greeted my cousins awkwardly. What also happened was the minute I saw them, and when I transferred back to trying to talk to any of my aunts and such, I just felt my voice become weak and low. It just started to get so low and just really soft-toned, soft-spoken, just completely emasculated of all sense of just being casual in front of everybody. I just can't even raise my own voice. When I have to call out for something, I can't even do it without feeling like, oh, I sound so weird. I sound so, like, out of touch. I sound so out of place around every one of them. And that was what I was telling myself. That was what I was reminding myself constantly. Just saying just making dribble, just doing dribbling with my words and making myself sound real meek and timid, and just making everyone uncomfortable. And there's just some shame. There was just some shame to that. Then we went outside to go to the pool we were ready to jump and dive in. So we did that. Went into the pool. I went into the pool with my best friend's older brother, and we just hung out. We just swam around, had some fun. And then my best friend and his younger brother, they didn't have swimsuits, but they decided to bring it because they just saw how much crazy adventures were going on as we were just diving and just flicking waves at each other. And then my best friend's younger brother borrowed my truck, got back home to get his swimwear for him and my best friend, and they went into the pool as well. It was like, the pool was not cold, it was really nice. It was just basically room temperature. 75 degrees around there, 72, 75 degrees in terms of water temps, and it wasn't bad. It was really nice. Because I remember when I was in there, I just said, hey, it's been like, in 3 years, I haven't done anything like this. I haven't gone into like water, I haven't gone around to doing it, I haven't gone to beaches, lakes, or any form of that, and I just was really depressed about that. For a while, I was just frustrated because I was just so busy, and so, like, every day just kept feeling more just demotivating with every day. I just feel like I was just losing life, and just not being able to experience a little bit of peace for once, a little bit of fun, a little bit of actual, like, nice water to just help cool off all those destructive thoughts that continue to transfer through my arms and legs and brain. And now I had the chance. Now I'm able to actually do it, and it was awesome. We all played a form of Marco Polo where all of our eyes were closed. One of us eyes were closed, and we were just trying to be quiet. And well, my best friend and his brothers, they took turns throwing soccer water balls. The kind of soccer balls that are inside, like, floatable for water. They're meant to be in the pool, so they kept throwing that at their older brother's head, and they're like beach balls towards each other's head, and just shooting water guns at each other, water rockets or something like that. Or it's that kind of water that has like it works basically like, it's like a giant, it's not a giant, but it's like an arm-sized turkey baster that just, the minute you pull it back, the water gets taken, and then you push back towards where the shark is pointed towards, then the water, and we kept doing it at each other's heads, just aiming and giving complete assassinations. But the more accurate term is we're getting water in our ears, and we're just completely doing water assassinations back and forth as we were playing Marco Polo. Once we did that, we ended up just drying off, watering off first with like a water sprinkler, and then we went to go up the the back porch in my cousin's place. They have a really large back porch, and we all dried off, and then we got to our default wardrobes, and then we sat for a little bit. One of my uncles there was working on the grill, and he was making us hamburgers and fries. So we had that, fries and Coke, nice cup of Coke, and we had that and some egg rolls, because they had egg rolls in the party. So we decided to give it a try, and then after that, we just went to back in the backyard, and we sat for a bit in areas, and then we walked around, and I decided I just soloed. I just decided to solo myself, because I just wanted to go around for a little bit. They needed to sit down and just talk. I just wanted to go somewhere. And I just went around the house, and I was looking through the window of the living room. That's where my cousins were playing their game. Mainly B was giving a game for J and L1 to C. And maybe L2 and M2 as well. That depends. And I just remember, I just stood outside looking at the window, watching the television, and they were playing this horror concept of game. And I felt so sad. I felt like that's just, I'm so close to them, but I'm just outside of their group. I'm outside of their circle, their social circle. I'm not in proximity of that, and I just by myself, just standing outside looking through, and it's like, yep, this is always how it's going to be. This is how it's always been, and this is how it's always going to be. And I just remember just feeling myself, my shoulders just sinking in my head, looking back down. I felt so sad. I just felt like, this is unfortunate. This is really unfortunate for me. I just never would have thought that this is how I was gonna experience this moment again. I was just gonna have to relive this. I was gonna have to relive this terrible feeling, this pit in my stomach that just keeps on caving itself in. And then I would walk around, and I would just look at the house and just recall a lot of memories of my oldest cousins, the activities that we spent. And then I'd walk back to the garage, pass by the garage, and look at that one specific area. This brings back to when I first came through the driveway with my friends and his brothers. What happened was, I walked up to the driveway and I saw the very spot that I recalled of L1 having a fun time with her cousin D. One of my oldest cousins, D. They were driving their electrical car, kid-sized car, and they were just driving up the grass. And I just stood there for a moment, and I was really sad, and they could tell, my friend and his brothers could tell, because they said, "Hey, you all right? You sound kind of off." And I said, yeah, I'm just fine. Just give me a little bit. I'm just trying to process this. And I just felt really sad. I just slowly walked around, and they ended up standing in their own area for now, just giving me space, just giving me space. Giving that introverted person space just to recharge some of his batteries or so. And I was just feeling all around down. And then, yeah, that was that. We sat in the porch, and I just remember, I just felt like I was ready to cry. Just one point when I sat to the front side of the house, because it was just so overwhelming. The emotions were just super intense, and I just felt so alienated from being around them. I just felt so alienated to myself. I wasn't alienated from them directly, but I was just alienated with the choice that I've made to make myself alienate to them. Shortly after that, we went back down to the basement, and I had my games set up. I had my N64 set up in the meantime when they were preparing the food, and I was by myself, and my mom came down saying, hey, the food's ready, or your food's ready, and you gotta get up or so, something like that. But I was like, okay. And then she said, come upstairs, go outside to see your friends. They look really sad without you. And so I did my setup, and then I eventually got out, and that's where the burgers were being made, burgers, fries, and egg rolls. And after that, we played the N64 for a little bit, Mario Kart 64. We played that. I wanted to introduce my best friend's older brother about it, because he's a really good Mario Kart player, so I wanted to see how it would be like if he could outmatch the characters, the bots. I was curious, because he's really good at playing Mario Kart. He's almost a veteran by all means. So he got interested. We played, my best friend and his brothers, including me. And they were just laughing about a time where I told my best friend that I said, one time I sat down by my cousins in the basement. We were just hanging around playing games, and then L1 was telling her younger sibling, hey, sit next to Tim. And, well, they were too uncomfortable. They just felt like I just had this intense aura around people, and I just looked very unapproachable. And then I said something like, oh, well, nobody wants to hang out with insert my name. And it just was funny, because just the way I said it, it's true. Some funny things can be funny because it's true. But yeah, that's what we were laughing about, talking about. And then we continued playing for a little bit. Then my uncle came down, and he let us know that we're ready for the fireworks. The fireworks that I bought for the party. It turns out nobody else had fireworks. I assumed that my uncle got some fireworks, but looks like it was just me this time. Just me. First time getting fireworks, and first time performing the fireworks for my cousins and my aunts and uncles. So we went outside. It was dark. It was nighttime. And we went to the main front side of the building where the street was. Mind you, this is a really nice place. It's a wooded area. It's a nicely wooded area. And of course, it's definitely worth worth doing it at that moment. It was the 4th of July. And I wanted to do this. I wanted to do fireworks. I was scared back then, but now I was like, I'm curious now. I actually want to explore what I actually was scared of. And now I'm actually enjoying it. Like there was just a surge of adrenaline with each light, with each ignition. There's like, we started off kind of out of order because usually you save the good ones last, but we just did this because we never did this. We never did this before. We all never really were very experienced in preparing for the fireworks. So, and there was a little bit of the pressure. There was a little bit of intense pressure, but it was fun. It was the fun kind because like everyone, your audience is waiting for you to light the fireworks. So we did our first firework and it was, wow, it blasted off. It went off fast. Just sporadic, explosive sparks in the sky, and it really lit up the whole area around Jay's place, around my cousin's place, J and L ones. And I was told that from my friend, my best friend, that yes, there were my cousins watching, at least a lot of people watching in the front, outside the door, very front side, in the moment as we were just going crazy, having fun. And did that, and we lit the last fireworks, and they were just like really just pew pew fireworks. They were just not that. They weren't that they weren't that memorable, notorious or memorable. They weren't like that. And I just it was like, oh well. Next time, it was a good first time try for fireworks. It was a nice first time, first attempt ever, and I gave my cousins a silent service. I gave my own contribution, even though we weren't directly around or hanging out with each other as much. I just gave my own contribution, just kind of being the silent hero. And we went back inside. Well, I was exhausted. We were exhausted. My best friend, me, my best friend, and his younger brother, we were exhausted. We were tired because we were running back and forth trying to light each ignition, light each fuse, and just wait for it and allow the magic show to happen. And that was fun. Went back inside to play Pardon. I dropped something. It's nothing serious, nothing special. It's just I think it's my Bluetooth earbuds. I'll grab it when I finish this one. I just said that, yeah, we went back to Mario Kart for a little bit, and then it was my cousin Jay's birthday cake time. And so I called everyone, called my brothers, I called my best friend and his brothers to go for the cake. And we were just in time. We were almost late, but we just got in time as the lights were off and the candles were lit, as everyone was singing happy birthday to Jay. One other thing that happened was my mom had me give Jay $100 for his birthday gift. And I tried to give it to him, but he was saying that there's too many people that gave him money, so he's not going to take it. So he didn't. I told my mom. I went to my mom and she was like, "What's wrong, or what's going on?" I said it said in my language that Joe doesn't want the money because too many people gave him money. And like the rest of everybody laughed at him, and he was laughing because I was explaining it. It was just, I guess maybe that was kind of a nice contribution. Like I remember I told it to my best friends that were sitting out during their time when they were eating the burgers, because that's when it was happening. It was still daylight, and I told them about it, and they're like, "Oh, that's not right. That's kind of rude." You know, just like when someone offers you something out of niceness, and it's only natural to like reciprocate some form of take back. But I just told them that, well, I mean, that's all. I didn't say anything else besides like, "Oh, that's it. That's what happened." And then later I did explain it though. I explained that I translated my language to my aunts and my mom that Jay didn't want the money because there's like too many people that gave him money already, so it is what it is. I don't mind it. I mean, I wasn't too sad. I kind of understood his place. Like too many people giving you too many things, so you just get a little bit of a amped up like tension. But later though, he did give me a dab. He dabbed me up, and I was like, all right, is, you know, better than the last time we tried to dab each other up, like the last party or so. I just fickled. I just messed up the handshake, and it was just embarrassing. It was absolutely embarrassing. We had like an awkward chuckle, and I just knew I just messed it up. And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry about this." And he's like, "No, you're good, you're good." And but this time we succeeded. It was an awesome dab. Like it was a solid one. Like at first I was talking to him about the college, and it just was like, I was having trouble trying to look at him, because I was like, "Oh, well, look at me, this loser of a man that just can't seem to hold a conversation is in front of this guy who used to look up to him so much." And then I looked back up at him, and then he showed his hand, and I was like, "All right, I'll give him a dab this time." And I wasn't thinking too much about it. I wasn't overthinking this time. I just went in for it like an exhausted worker, hard labor worker. Just gave him that handshake, and it was a solid one. It was not bad. It wasn't bad at all. It was pretty good. It was awesome. And I was like, "Wow, we got it. We did it this time." And then we went off to our respective areas. Yeah, I saw L1 there, and yeah, I have to say I definitely felt sad. I felt sad seeing L1 again. Just, it's like, man, oh man, here we go. Here we go with how I facilitate myself in front of this very much kind, generous cousin that has nothing to be afraid or ashamed of, and I'm the one that's just completely taken all of that to myself, keeping it to myself, and just being that way to myself around her, at least from a distance, just sitting on a couch and just. I was partially happy to see her, just glad, because I live in an apartment and I'm kind of by myself, and I just haven't seen many people that I recognize for some time, like family-wise. And I guess I was a little happy, but I was mostly sad. There was no glance towards me at all. There was no greeting. There wasn't even a hello. There wasn't even anything said. It was just, I wasn't even part of, I didn't even feel, I wasn't considered a family member. That's how it felt. You know, I just was a complete stranger. I was just like the clothes hanger to her bedroom, or to her like you know, like a utility or something, or just a prop. You know, I was just a prop, just inanimate object around. But this inanimate object does breathe and does have a life, but it's like, just this person is, I'm basically no different to like the bed lamp or something, to her house, to her anywhere. I'm no different to just like a picture around this house that she would never give a second thought of or even a glance, or even like a nod, or even a smirk, like a grin, or any form of greeting whatsoever. And I just think I really did this on myself. I really brought this up. I brought this upon myself, and I just messed up. And that was just so shameful, so saddening. But I was still kind of happy. I was still a little happy that I saw her, at least, rather than never being able to see any of them. My cousins, rather than never being able to see any of them. At least I get to see that they're still active, they're still full of life, they're still happy about something. Meanwhile, there's me that's just, I get to see my best friend, but I also just get to deal with like work and just college, and just still feel like I haven't even progressed anywhere in my life. Feeling like I have done nothing but doing everything that has to deal with being nobody, being no one worth being around, and just absolutely eradicated from everyone. Aside from that, I did let B know to come down to try and play Mario Kart with us. And that was awesome. That was a good feeling. That was nice. Like, I was actually like, because I haven't seen B, I haven't talked to B in like 3 months or so. 3 or 4 months. I haven't talked to B in 3 months straight for 3 months because, well, we're busy. And we just have a lot of things to do. We can't really do much. And so I just was glad to see him again. 3 months in terms of like initiating any form of communication. And I just felt glad to see him. He came down and hung out with all my best friend and his brothers, and we were all the older guys. We were in the posse of the old guys group. We became the oldest, and that was like really fun. That was awesome. He really like quickly gravitated towards our environment. He's quick with that. He's great with that. He's able to acclimate real well around environments, emotional, physical, psychological environment. This guy is like the best at just being able to like a chameleon, just flows right in, changes to the right matching color, and just fits in. It's amazing. I can't tell that enough. I really give B props to that for B. This guy is awesome. He's a great person to be around. He's a real stand-up kind of person. He's a very good guy for comedic relief, and he knows how to like ease up the tension. This guy is, I really sound like I'm kissing up to this, but I gotta say he's like the #1 cousin out of every single one out of us 4. This guy led the pack. He fulfilled every sense of bringing everyone together. This guy was great. This guy is great. He's still great at that. And yeah, he had fun. We recalled some of our old game, Left 4 Dead. We recalled funny things about Left 4 Dead and some new add-ons or mods. And we stayed around until like it was 10:50 something, and that was when we were told to come down, or if we were told to leave, to go home. My dad also, one point in the day in the party, asked me if the thing that this family does is constantly, this sounds good, but like, if you understand the culture behind it, then you would know that it just feels like being force-fed. But anyway, I was offered food, And I told my dad that I don't have enough room for my fridge to place any of this food, because like I have groceries that I purchase and drinks that I purchase for work, all equally for home and work. And so like it's already full. There's not enough room. But it's a recurring thing in the family to keep asking for food. Even though we already ate, even though we fulfilled ourselves with hunger, we already did that. But it's always this question if you want this leftover food. And it's frustrating. I remember I was happy before that, and then just the minute that came around, everybody could tell, like my voice just changed, my whole persona, my personality shift. I just started to change right there on the spot in real time. I just completely collapsed mentally and emotionally in front of my cousin and my best friend and his brothers. And then like once that happened, we all kind of settled back in, and then I packed up my N64 and games and cartridges, and then I told my best friend and his brothers to wait outside and I'll catch up with them. I just wanted to see B for a bit, just to talk to him for a small bit as we were walking up the stairs from the basement. And I told him that this is hard, this is tough for me. Like, it's hard for me to even fit in with them, with my cousins. And he said, yeah, they're different people, and that it's fine. It's all right. They're different people, different personalities. And I just remember once he finally got off and went somewhere else, I just remember I just felt my shoulders sink, I felt my head fall down, and I felt like crying. But I didn't cry. I just felt my face turn inside out from what I was holding inside for so long in terms of emotional tax. And I was just so sad. I just felt so depressed. And then I went into the truck with my brother, I keep saying brother, my best friend and his brothers. And we drove back home slowly. We took our time with it. I played my music and I sang alongside my best friend's younger brother. He's a really, what I think about it is like we're able to become better in terms of like friendship. We're getting there progressively, and then because like there's dynamic that he's like a younger brother. He's the younger brother to my best friend, but we're not that different in terms of younger brother, because I'm a younger brother and he's a younger brother. So there's a lot of like being able to identify that we're not that different apart from each other. We're not that different. We have to deal with being the little brother. And I don't see him at all like a younger person. I don't see him like that. I just see him like, oh, he's around my age mentally, and we're just, I don't mean like 100% mentally, I just mean like around there. We're not that different. We're not that different mentally. And the next day we went out fishing. Like, that's what my best friend's younger brother R does in his spare time. And I was like, I haven't done it in 4 to 5 years, because like the first time I did fishing, I was doing it with my uncle from my dad's side, and he was a very like strict person, very like determined, and it's hard to read him because he's always serious, and I never got along with him, and I never really could fish properly without him trying to just fix the mistakes that I've made all the time without even like saying anything about it. So when I actually did this with him, with R, then it was actually nice. It was more relaxing, and he speaks English very well. R, you know, I had no problem. But my uncle though, he has like a broken English kind of, and it's hard to get along with that. I mean, I understand it because I have a different language. I'm not just English, and so I can get around that. But it's just like the attitude and the tone is very much hard to get along. And so I spent the time to finally fish for once, and he asked me about it. What did I think? And in my mind, I wanted to give him a real answer, but I haven't found that real answer yet. So that's why I told him, like, I'm curious mostly right now, for now, and I don't know how to feel about it exactly, but I'm curious. And that's my realest answer as of yet. And what I think about fishing is it's very much an introverted or kind of loner-like activity. And it's very meditative, it's very cooling to the mind, it's very much relaxation. And I just find myself unable to really talk about it very much because basically the action speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. But my answer to his question about how I feel about it or what I think, well, I think this is something that we will do as we get older. Him and I, R and I, we would do this as we get older, and it's just our own way of acting like, being grown-ups, being adults. At least from how our fathers spent their time, just like around our age. What they did primarily around our age for fun, instead of being stuck on phones and being stuck on the cellular devices and being consumed into that social media. It's nice to actually experience that fishing without being so distracted. There's no distraction to that. And it seems like I think I might have went past this area a little bit, and it might end up becoming an extended video. I think if that happens, I'm going to edit this and turn it into a copy, and I'll make sure that I exclude this clip. I'll say it again, I'll just do my intro and say what it is, what process we're at right now, basically. But we're hitting that 53-minute mark, and we're already close to the hour mark, and we're basically ready to finish this video. And that was, my friend told me, or my best friend asked me what was like. I told him at the end of the party that I had to process all these negative and positive feelings about the party and how it went. And well, I think I could do it here. I might do it either in the next extended clip after this one, once I reach the hour mark or so. I might do it. I don't mean that I might do it. I will do it. I just got to I haven't really. My mind wasn't even looking at this world. Just went into the full monologue mode. But maybe I could do it here. I don't know. How I felt, how I processed all. I was gonna end up going out, driving late at night again, just to do it, to process all my thoughts. But I ended up going outside. I still had some like fireworks, small little like pew fireworks that weren't even very much intense. And I just lit those for the last time, finished the rest of them, the pack and everything, as there were other people outside the park that were lighting their fireworks and sitting in the grass field at the park that I usually go to, and it was nighttime. I did that, and I was sad and I was happy at the same time, but mostly sad. I was too tired to go out and drive to my road to thoughts, which was basically like this entire world, except longer, but yeah, I just was too tired. But to process the thoughts like now, before I do that, I do have to mention that tomorrow I have to do my public speaking again. I have to go back in and present my speech this time that I missed last week. Like, sooner or later, I'm gonna end up going to hit the sack soon after I finish explaining and finish this little east district of Sandtown Village. But to process those feelings is, I was sad, but I was kind of outweighed with a little bit outweighed, surpassed with some of the fun that I had with my friend, my best friend, and his brothers and B. Like, they came into clutch and they helped me from just holding the thoughts of the sadness until holding the thoughts and sadness and ended up crying myself to sleep. I didn't do it. I was still sad, but I was able to at least have a reassurance to just believe in myself that things are gonna be okay. But it made me sad too that it was over. You know, the party's over, it's all done, and now I have to be alone again. When I wanted to experience it longer, because I've just been isolated from everybody. When you're isolated from everyone for a while, you really do, like, take every last moment, and you really savor and let it just sink into your mind, and you just, even when you get that, it just doesn't feel like it's enough. It doesn't feel like there's enough time. There's not enough time. It's not enough to, like, completely help you feel like you're having enough fun to, like, to be happier or to stay happy for another day or so. And it's also kind of the tough thing about being an adult, just kind of have a happy moment for only a day. It's really much borrowed time. It's very limited. It's not very much fun to do. And so it's just, but I had to deal with that for the longest. I've done that since childhood. I've felt this void in my life. Like, when everyone's gone, I just felt so depressed, like I'm all alone again. I'm not able to see anyone again for like some time, but when I was little, it was more reassured because, like, every Friday I would go see my cousins. But now it's just, I won't get to see them for more than a month, more than a couple months. And that really breaks my heart. It really does. It hurts. And so, yeah, they were able to hold me off from feeling negative for at least a couple of days. But then now the negative sadness kind of just sinks right back in as I'm dealing with the nonsense from work. The life of work where you're not too great. You're just in for the money. You're in to make your money and you're making your 8 hours. That's really all there is to it. But I just gotta deal with college again at the same time. It's been 5 years and I'm still in college, community college, and I'm still doing this. And it's gotten to the point where it's like, wow, I'm basically going for a medical degree at this point in terms of duration. But we're getting close to the hour mark, and I'm ready to I'm gonna postpone this temporarily, and hope this was interesting. Eastern side, okay, here we go. Cretans or non-Cretans, if not any of those, the socially excluded, don't sound the siren. I am to be welcome, and I am signing off. 4, 3, 2, 1.